Have you ever been sitting there, feeling fine in yourself, happy-go-lucky, and then suddenly everything shifts? Maybe you find yourself blowing off at everybody else, or maybe you find yourself just shutting down, numbing out, disassociating. Possibly you find yourself getting into this panic and trying to love people, trying to be nice. Have you wondered why this happens? Well, I'm here for you to share with you what is going on here. So let me share my little screen with you so that I can help you. Before I do that, let me just introduce myself and say, hi, I am Zaria. I run Restoring Love on Facebook, or Zaria Lufu on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm passionate about helping folk who had childhood trauma, adversity, to know that they are so worth loving, and what happened to them was not their fault. They didn't deserve it, and that you can be loved. But so often, how the trauma impacts us now makes us feel bad about ourselves. So I want to support you in understanding the brain so that you can know that you're not bad, you're not unlovable, you are worthy and deserving of goodness and care and love. So let me share my screen and pop along. If you have any questions, you're welcome to share them in the comments. Hi, everybody, and I will come back and answer the questions at the end. All right, so let me just find this. Today, we're going to be looking at the amygdala and the amygdala hijack. When we can understand this, because so often those of us who've had trauma just think that we are bad, there's something wrong with us. You know, we see even with this situation with Will Smith, people go, he's bad. Chris is bad. Jade is bad. Instead of wondering, what happened to you? What happened that made you behave like that? So let's look at it so that we can understand and stop judging ourselves and other people and start loving and growing the skills to be able to function in a healthier, more loving way, so we feel good about ourselves and we can be more empathetic and understanding to other people. All right. Well, I need to press share screen so that I can find this. Okay, there we go. So let's look at the amygdala. Dun, 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 the amygdala is right at the back. So in the reptilian brain, it's on both sides. There's a little almond shape at the end of the brain. I often share with clients that where there's hysterics, where suddenly you just burst out with emotion, or you might completely shut down or melt down or start sobbing and not understanding why. When there's that, when you've gone from 0 to 10 or even up to 8 really quickly, then generally it's historic. Something has happened. And this is due to the amygdala. It's the storehouse of our emotions and trauma. So whenever anything happens, that's where the nuggets are stored inside of us. And it can get triggered by any sensation, sound, sight, taste that mirrors an old upset. And then it floods you with all the feelings that you had from that time. So the thalamus is the part of the brain that processes the sensations. As those go in, the thalamus lets the amygdala and the cortex know, oh, there's information coming in. The amygdala bursts out all the trauma and the feelings from that trauma that just floods who you are. And this leads to, oh, there's the little amygdala there. This leads to you being what I call effed. Let's look at what effed is. Effed is fright, where you just get so stunned you can't function. You're just bright-eyed, like a deer in the headlights, and you just feel like this, the feeling, this shock, or you go into fight, which is getting angry, getting frustrated, storming at people. It could be physical. And this doesn't mean that that's okay. It just makes it understandable, and it's a sign that there's trauma inside that needs processing beyond talk therapy. We'll talk about that because I think that that's essential. A lot of people go to talk therapy and they're like, but I still get triggered by this. Yes, because talk therapy is in the cortex. You think of when you're talking, if you are talking and they study the brain, the language center lights up. If we are wanting to heal things in the amygdala, we need to do body-centered therapies like somatic therapy, brain spotting. That's the therapy that I do with clients. EMDR, that's the therapy I did as a client. I also did EMDR as a client, but EMDR gave me migraines. So I stopped doing those because I would be swapping one trauma for not being functional, and that didn't work for me. Or other things like sensory motor therapy. Those things help to really get into the trauma and process it effectively. So when the sensation comes in, we can know what's happening and respond in a healthier way. All right, so let's carry on with ways that we're effed. In flight. So flight, we just want to run away. We want to leave the relationship. We want to end the conversation. We want to ghost somebody or hang up because the emotions just take over and they're overwhelming. We could fawn. Fawning looks like we are like, oh, if I just love you enough, will you not be angry? We're walking on eggshells, doing everything, over-functioning to meet somebody else's needs so that they won't be angry and we won't be in trouble. This gets us into relationships with abusers, with people who are toxic, with people who use us and take advantage of us without care for ourselves because we just want to be loved so much. So the amygdala does that of like, oh my God, I just want to be loved. Please just love me. Then also being funny, where we might mock people, we might shame them with humor. Come on, it's just a joke. What are you saying? It's just a joke. Or we might giggle hysterically and we just can't stop laughing, even though it's completely inappropriate because somebody's fallen over, or we just don't have the cortex to know that's not the appropriate response, the cortical functioning to know that's not an appropriate response that would more regulate us. We don't have that capacity. Or flop. Flop looks like just our body just can't function. We get completely immobilized, meltdown. So folk who have autism will experience this a lot. Meltdown, crying, our bodies going into fetal position, just completely stuck in ourselves, and our bodies. So, you know, in the wild, it would look like a little mouse being chased by a cat or something, and then it just flops over and pretends it's dead. So it's a survival mechanism. Each and every one of them, these are a survival mechanism to keep us alive. It's going, dude, watch it. There's trauma here. Watch it. And these are the ways that our body's going, how can I stay alive? How can I look after myself? How can I not be hurt by this? And those are all functioning that makes sense because the amygdala is just releasing that trauma and emotion that has been there from childhood or from whenever the trauma began. So it cuts off the cortex because it floods us before the thalamus messages get to the cortex, and then the cortex doesn't function well. The cortex is the place for calm, clarity, like I know what to do here, I can resolve this, for connection, of staying close to somebody, because if the amygdala is taken over, you'll fight with somebody or you will run away from somebody. When you are operating from the cortex and regulated, you want connection, you're happy to be loved. You're able to do things creatively, like work through them together in a harmonious way, and communicate with honoring and cherishing and care, resolving what is there, seeing that any complaint or criticism actually comes from a place of what we care about and what we need in our lives. So, we can see in this just how deeply the amygdala floods us. And it's not our fault. It's a natural, automatic function in the brain. So if we are having these hysterics, then we can empathize with ourselves and know it's historic. So let's have a look quickly at the ways that we can help ourselves in these moments. The most essential way to get the amygdala calm is embodied regulation, empathy, and safety. So when the amygdala has been activated, we go into this F state, the cortex is shut down, and then we don't have access to being calm, clear, connected, creative, and communicative. So if we want to access the cortex, we have to calm the amygdala and calm the whole nervous system. I'm going to share with you more about the nervous system on Saturday. So come back for then. For those of you who are watching the replay of this, you'll be able to see the next one below. All right. So the three things that we need to be able to calm the amygdala is embodied regulation, empathy, and safety. So embodied regulation, there's so many tools to be able to calm us. First, we need to notice when the amygdala is getting triggered, when they're little whispers, so that instead of waiting for ourselves, if we are disconnected from our body and we don't notice, oh, my heart's beginning to race, oh, I've gone into a state of shock, oh, I'm feeling angry, my skin's burning, there's churning in my belly. We need to notice those things when they are small. If we can catch them when they're small, then they don't develop into these big monsters where the amygdala is just completely flooded us, and we don't have the capacity to regulate ourselves or to be healthy in our connection. And then we can get into these effed ways that then we feel upset with ourselves. So if we can be embodied and aware of our body, we can notice, oh, my skin's burning. Whew, I need to breathe. So the breath really helps us to regulate. If we notice for ourselves that when we're getting over, when the amygdala is triggered, we might stop breathing. We might breathe too quickly, like we are breathing through our mouths, going, oh my God. And that increases our anxiety. It increases our paranoia and our fear. What we want to do is we want to breathe slowly in through our nose and a big sigh out through our mouths. And that starts to regulate us. Next, we want empathy for those emotions and saying to ourselves, it makes sense we're feeling like this. It makes sense that we're upset. And if you don't know like you're not able yet to put the connections together, you can say to yourself, I don't know why this trigger has happened, but I know that it will make sense when we understand it. And I'm going to be present and caring. And if you don't know, then you can create a little safe space inside of you. For some people who have been so activated and deregulated for so long, it took me ages to get to a place where I felt safe. You can start by finding a physical space in your house, but you want to learn to get your whole body safe so that you are being kind and loving to yourself. And you can also find a safe space in your imagination, so that when you're overwhelmed or stressed, you can go into that. Like I've got a little cave that's got a protector on the outside and food and nourishing bits on the inside. And that really, really helps. So what you want to do is practice sharing with empathy to yourself and others so that you rewire your brain for responding to that. When you are finding yourself getting effed, you want to shift your breathing into being regulating, calm and kind to yourself. So I want you to practice that. I want you to practice noticing what's going on in your body. I want you to practice empathy with yourself and being safe. All right, let me just pop in and see if did I forget to share it? It looks like it did. Oh, well, I apologize. I'll quickly, let me see if I did the whole slideshow without showing you it. Oh, that's silly of me. Oh, well, it was a really interesting slideshow. You just got to see my whole face being really animated because I didn't think anybody could see me. Anyway, that was lovely to do that with you. I like to try and keep our videos like 10 or 15 minutes so that people can quickly watch them. Are there any questions for you on that? On Saturday, I'll be coming back to do live video on the nervous system, because the amygdala activates the nervous system that changes our perception and how we think. For those of you who want to go deeper into understanding how to respond to our triggers, then come and join our Tame the Triggers workshop. The warm-up starts on Monday, and it's 10 minutes a day, and we learn how to respond to ourselves. We get to see what is making us triggered in our lives that is prompting our trauma to flood us, and then we can't work through it because it just becomes so overwhelming. So we want to understand what are our triggers, what is happening for us, so that we can respond, calm ourselves, love ourselves, and make ourselves safe. So I would love to, I'm not too sure what time it is. It is on the Restoring Love page, so you can check it out. Yes, Nessa, sorry, I'm not going to redo it, but it was a really great slideshow. It was also to keep me on track of all the things that I wanted to share. But for those of you who would like to come and join us in the Tame the Triggers workshop, if you click the link below, we would love to have you with us. It's 10 minutes a day for if you start on starting next week. It is 10 minutes a day. It will take you beautifully into understanding how to love yourself so that you're not empty, frustrated with other people. It will help you to know how to separate yourself from it, so you're not overwhelmed by your feelings, but you can actually separate and engage with them so that you're not taken over by them and then acting from them on other people or on yourself, repressing them. So it impacts your whole nervous system and your body, because or your immune system, so that because of repressing them and not facing them. So what else do we do in the Tame the Triggers workshop? We also look at shifting your belief system so that you understand that you are worthy of love and care and goodness. I'd love to have you with us. It's just a glorious week together where you get to love yourself. You get to know that you are a worthy, beautiful human being. And so many people go, I'm overwhelmed in life, I can't do this. 10 minutes a day is just like every morning you wake up, and you can watch the video offline, off Facebook, so that you can see it in your own time. And then you can do the practices through the day of what we're doing. So it's probably 10 minutes video, and then 10 minutes or so through the day. It might be writing something. It may be, there are different practices. There's a little bit of drawing to understand who we are and why we like we are. I'd love to have you with us. I just know that what a difference it makes. Somebody in the last program said that 10 minutes a day was more helpful to them than the 10 months of therapy that they'd had. So if you are in therapy and you think, well, I've already got a therapist, why do I need this? This will help you go deeper with your therapy. I don't want you stopping seeing the therapist that you're seeing. This will help you to go deeper with your therapy. Other people had said they didn't like themselves until they came across the Tame the Triggers workshop, and they came to realize that they are so worthy and deserving of love. I'd love to have you with us. Just click the link below and come and join us. And we will see you next week. We begin on Monday. The video on the nervous system and how the nervous system shifts our perspective we'll be doing on Saturday. All right, as a little gift to you from me, sending you love, and we will see you on Saturday and hopefully on Monday too. All right, love to everybody. Let me know if you've got any questions. Bye.